What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming to you with a discussion video, maybe a state of the game. I'm not sure what this is. It was just kind of something we saw in the comments and wanted to discuss and see what you guys think. So, we did, what is it, the leaks video about pendulums coming out.
Yep.
And I was like, I would prefer a filler world because I want this game to last forever so that we can keep playing it, making content about it. And I posed the question, why do you think Konami's doing this? And someone in the comments made a good point, saying that maybe they're hurrying this along. They're bringing out pendulums now, and then maybe they'll bring out links a year after that. Let's just say, I don't know. And they're doing that because they want to have a new Yu-Gi-Oh game come out where it's more like the TCG, and they're trying to get everybody in Duel Links maybe used to all the different summoning mechanics. So when that game comes out, we can all kind of like just pick that up and start playing it. What do you think, Ryan? Do you think there's any truth to that?
I mean, that's definitely, maybe a little bit more on the conspiracy side for sure, but it definitely is something that I could see being a thing. Like if I was in an executive office in Konami and I saw this huge boon and influx of new players coming into the Yu-Gi-Oh card game because of Duel Links. And let's be honest here, guys, yes, the TCG is popular, but there has been a decline in TCG in general, just in general, like cardboard games, especially with COVID and everything that happened.
Right.
So it makes sense, especially like all these people who have never experienced, I've never experienced pendulums or links or anything. So, being able to go into the very first entry point of it from the very beginning and then transition into a TCG mobile game, it makes a lot of sense. I can totally understand how one would come to that conclusion because it makes sense. I don't know what those mechanics are, and this is a perfect time to learn, and it would be very easy to transition into that video game if I knew what those mechanics were, right?
Right.
I think probably what's more of a likely scenario is we can pretty much see what happened between Synchro and Exceed. They put a filler world in, and that's when we got like Invoker and stuff like that. And we got like really powerful, like normal summon fusions.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason that happened is because as we were going into that world, there was a Reddit post I was keeping up with where they were saying, hey guys, the card pool that we have right now is actually slowly starting to run out. Because they can't really, not only can they not release Exceed monsters, they cannot release cards that have Exceed in the text because Konami doesn't want to go through and like fix the text
everything,
and just like wipe out. Because look at Merlin, for example, right? He has two effects technically. You can quick effect to Exceed or you can quick effect to Synchro as well. So if they went in and reprogrammed Merlin and just took out the Exceed and left the Synchro, he could have come out in the Synchro era.
Right, but then you'd have to convert it back when the Exceed era came out, and that's just a lot of work.
You have to convert it back. It's a pain in the ass. There might be bugs along the way. So they didn't want to do that. So all the cards that even mention the term Exceed cannot come out. So they were running out of card pool, and then unfortunately things like Casitas, Invoker, Element Saber, Dark Lord, Banishment, these cards now have to come out.
Because what else are you going to do?
Because it's the only thing left. So that power creeps the game. Now you come to the Exceed era, and you've got all these old Exceed cards that can't take a normal Summon Alistair or Casitas or Dark Lord. So you have to nerf the game, right? Because you're not gonna just, I have all these T-shirts I made, but the person said I can't sell them till next year. Well, next year comes around, what am I just gonna toss them in the ocean? No, I still want to sell them. But if you try to sell them into all these decks, no one's going to buy them. So you have to nerf. And that's where the mess came from. And I think that's why we're going straight into Pendulum. I think that's the biggest driving force. They don't want to go back into a situation where it's like we have all this merchandise that becomes unsellable because we ran out of cards to release. You know what I mean?
So basically, there's probably just like a lot of cards that say Xyz Pendulum in there.
Exactly.
They use like... When we were looking at the pendulum leaks, it looked like, they had monster types, like effect monster, Exceed monster, and there were a lot that said XYZ/pendulum/effect. So there's probably a lot of those cards that say that. So this way
there's a card when UAs came out, signing deal. UAs don't when was the last time you saw UA Exceed summon?
Right.
You know what I mean? But the signing deal, I don't remember what it is. I think it's something like you can't Exceed summon except for you, or I don't know what it is. But basically, Exceed is in signing deal,
so it couldn't come out.
Give it to them. Yeah,
Right.
it could have come out and it would make no difference because we're still not exceeding with UAs,
Right.
but you can't release it because Exceed was in it, so they had to hold it all the way through. So that's just a card that they didn't have in the card pool. Thus, we have to release Alistair the Invoker.
Right. Why not?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What could happen?
So that's why, in my opinion, why a world like Pendulum has to come out now, where they release essentially the bait, the anime bait, the bad pendulums, if you
Mhm.
will, the ones that are already going to be power crept. You can release them now, and not lose money because it's the only ones that are available, essentially. Um, and yeah, as a byproduct, it would get people more used to pendulums, get more used to links. And as we go into the TCG game, which is a confirmed game, by the way, they did confirm that that game is being worked on,
Mhm.
basically in Duel Link style, but for Master Rule is all the information we have on it. And supposedly this year is supposed to get more info, so maybe at Worlds or something. I don't know. But they said that during the live stream, I think of whenever they announced maybe Zexal World or so. Whenever they announced the Rush Duel game, they announced that as well. So, that is a good byproduct of it. But I think ultimately it was a business decision not to do the filler world. And, it is kind of concerning because it's like, okay, well, when we run out of worlds, yeah, now at the end, you can start putting up filler worlds, right? Like links are out and everything. We can start putting filler
Mhm.
worlds, but it's going to be one of those things where okay, whenever a new mechanic comes out in TCG, are we immediately going to get it? Or are we just going to do filler world filler? Because filler worlds are fine, but they're not going to be as hype as just getting a brand new mechanic, right?
Right.
So yeah, there's a little bit of concern to be had there, but because especially some mechanics like Rush Duels, for example, took over this year's or this couple years or however long Konami
Mhm.
does for mechanics. That took over, but Rush Duels is like a brand new thing. It's not like a summoning mechanic of the
Right.
TCG.
It's a separate game. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
So
within the TCG.
yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where things go. Having a limited card pool could kind of suck for the game, right? Because there's only
Yeah.
so many things that work in the game to begin with because of the monster zones, the trap
Mm-hmm.
zones, and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always wondering, ultimately, yeah, what's the end game for Duel Links? Where are we going with this? Because there's only certain things that are going to work in Duel Links to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you run out of those, Konami hasn't shown that it really wants to do like Duel Links specific archetypes or
Mm-hmm.
Duel Links
Yeah.
specific cards. Sometimes we get a few, but for right now, they have all this stuff they can draw on. But yeah, in 2 to 3 years, do they want people to still keep playing this game? I would think so, right? Why would
Yeah.
you
Of
just
course. Of
stop
course.
having people play Duel Links when the Master Rule game comes out? Because people are
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that game will come out and people will stop playing Duel Links. It's like, well, why would you want to do that?
It's different formats. You just
Right?
play
Just
both.
you would want to have both, because you're gonna have
Yeah.
fans of both. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll play the new game, but I will always love Duel Links.
Especially if you can have like some synergy between the two.
Right.
Like events or whatever that are held
Mm-hmm.
between the two because like and you kind of hit it on the nail like eventually they're going to have to start taking Duel Links more seriously when new mechanics are announced in TCG. Instead of waiting a year or something, they should immediately come out in Duel Links, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whenever archetype, and they kind of did that. There's a couple archetypes that got made that are like, man, this seems perfect for Duel Links that come out in like For Hire, for example. For Hire
Right.
never really did think TCG, but it was like, oh wow, perfect for Duel Links. So I would expect, again, looking at it from a company perspective, for them to keep supporting the game, but they'll just have to change how they do it. Yeah, they'll just have to change how they approach um, releasing content. They're gonna have to start thinking of dueling specific content rather than, oh, this was in TCG, so we're just gonna take it and adapt it for
Well,
Duel
for right
Links.
now, that's why wouldn't you do that? You already have
Yeah.
the available card pool. So, like you're saying, maybe
Hmm.
they rush pendulums in so they can keep releasing stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
the point I wanted to make earlier is they kind of did it to themselves though with the worlds having the synchro and then the filler world and then having to release Cositis and things like that because
Yeah.
they have a very quick release schedule on these
Hmm.
boxes because it's kind of like people complain that they come out too quick but then they complain that the game gets stale. So when we have this quick release schedule, it just eats up the cards so quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like, and that's the thing. Duel Links, when it was made originally, it was never intended to be a long-term game. It was just like, hey guys, well, let's make this just for fun and see where it goes. And you know, looking at it back now, it's like these are a lot of deep-seated things that they never thought. Because like when you make a new game, you're like, there's how many cards in TCG? Wow, there's so many. You know, like we can
We will
never run
never
out.
run out. Yeah.
And now it's like, oh no, we've run out. You know.
Well, even if they went to
So,
like a 6 week schedule or 8 weeks, I know 2 months would feel like a long time, but if it could like
yeah.
prolong the life of the game, or I just think 3 to 4 weeks is a very, very rushed schedule. And probably
I
at the
mean,
time, it's like we can't get out enough because we're selling this
yeah.
stuff so quick, you know?
Unfortunately, I think now if they did that, people would be like, "Wow, the game's
Oh,
dying,"
they
you
would
know.
riot. Yeah, they would
Yeah,
riot
so it's
now, but
I think it's too late for that. Maybe I mean, I think it would be really cool is if they maybe even halved the main and mini boxes, you know? So like cut how many? So instead of 180, it's like main boxes are 90 and then mini boxes are the 50. So then
or
you're
something
you're
like that.
spending
Yeah.
less money, but like it's more longevity. But I think in general, Konami wants the most money, the quickest, you know what I mean? So
Right. Well,
a little bit of corporate greed probably did that to them too.
I think like people would riot if it was like every 6 to 8 weeks. But when
Yeah.
you think about the boxes that come out and the stuff that you actually end up wanting to get out of a box, you probably only buy into a box, what, every 6 to 8 weeks? Because a lot of
I
times
mean,
people are like, I'm skipping,
yeah.
you know?
Look at MST. MST is like if you want TGs, you got TGs, but if you didn't want TGs, you literally went to that box for MST.
Right.
So and then yeah, most people like if you're free to play, you're holding. You
Right.
like you
Yeah.
hold it on. So
Yeah. Less boxes that were more impactful would be awesome. So they don't run out of the
yeah.
card pool. But I mean, maybe that's all this is. Like you're saying, this is just, we have too many cards that have the word pendulum in there that we just have to get out. That just the way it is. So
Yeah, because like think about it realistically. Oh, we ran out of cards. Well, now I'm forced to bring out Alistair a year later. Oh, hey, I want to release Gear Giant X. Well, I don't think a Gear Giant X strategy will work under Alistair. Oof, well, time to nerf Alistair. You know,
yep,
so all
time to
your old
reset the
purchases
meta. And
now. Yeah,
if you guys are new to the
that's why we're in
game,
a low powered. And literally
yeah.
all the issues we've had this year stem because we had Dark Side Dimension.
Exactly,
Unfortunately.
100%. Yeah, because if you guys are new to the game, you might not realize that we went through a year of a very like oppressively strong meta where the decks
Yeah.
were just, they were strong, but they were not fun to watch. They were not fun to
No.
play against. It became a really like weird toxic meta with element
Yeah.
sabers that could flip down your cards 12, 18 times in a duel or whatever, and then
Yeah.
dark
The
lords
only
just, yeah.
Yeah, the only alternative to that is releasing in waves, right? So all the weak pendulums, all the weak Exceed, all the synchros come out all at once. Then you know the stronger
Right.
stuff, but like they're never gonna do that because that's not consumer friendly. So that's only
Yeah.
competitive friendly.
All right, let us know what you guys think. Put your tinfoil hats on and let us know in the comments what your conspiracy theory is for what Konami's up to. I think we kind of maybe got close. Makes sense. At least
Yeah.
what, I don't know. I think it makes sense. Let us know what you think in the comments below and get in our Discord and you can continue the discussion in there. It's free. The tournaments we host are free, and then the new player help is also free. So we're gonna get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Rye.
Setting up my scales for pendulum. Let's go.
And we'll see you next time.